speaking of $1 million, I actually just signed up for the Ethos because we needed to sign up for create our own application. Yeah. I just got the Ethos. It took me about 5 minutes to sign up for $1 million, $50 plan for 20 years.
For yourself?
Yeah.
You can sign yourself up?
Yeah, you get paid. Nice. Full comp
Food
too.
for thought.
100%.
Did you get that because of your new baby?
That too. And I was like, I might as well. It's going to pay for itself for the year. But it is because the first one I had for Ellie, I bought $1 million. And so I got another one for 20 years. I only set it for 20 years. After 20 years, if I'm still around and they're grown, they're on their own.
Why aren't you working? Thanks for joining us this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm joined in studio this week, Yoel Aynalem, my head of media productions.
What's up, guys?
He's on here today. We're going to go over some topics that, he's looking into some insurance for himself. So we're going to break that down a little bit for you guys. Also got John Bacaron.
How's it going?
FFL Elite Syndicate. And then guest producing the show, we have Sam Martinez.
Hey,
if you guys can only see that enthusiasm. But real quick, for everyone that's on here, we have the business mixer here in Los Angeles at our office tonight. Paola, Desiree, and Alex are going to be hosting. It's going to be a female-led event, so it's going to be really, really cool. Sam, earlier we were we were planning it out, and then what was the point about females working in the industry you brought up?
I was like, utilize it, act like you were weak, and this is how you can get people to come and join. And Albert was like, definitely don't do that. Tell them how easy it is. I guess that works too.
Yeah, well, coming from Sam's perspective,
Sam can say anything.
Is this in the club, Sam?
There's some validity to it. Sometimes it's just the way we choose to look at something. So the thing is, you could think it's difficult for women in this industry. Desiree immediately shook her head because we were on a video call, and she was just like, no, I think it's easier.
Yeah,
which I totally agree with. I think this is an amazing industry. This is an amazing company for females to come in and thrive, for females to come in and just take advantage of the situation. Generally, I think, in my opinion, women are naturally better natural salespeople.
So much easier.
As far as booking appointments, breaking down walls, all that stuff. There's a lot of advantages to it. So it's all in how you look at it. So we're really looking forward to that event tonight. Food and beverages will be provided. So looking forward to just kind of do something a little bit different. So if you guys are in the area, or if you guys have any candidates or people that are interested in checking us out, send them on through. We have big goals for this month of October.
Yep.
Okay. It's 45 million issue paid for the month of October for all of FFL, which we're all part of FFL. So we need to be contributing. Helen, are you on here?
Scroll.
Yes.
No, not camera ready.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. We want to see your face.
Hi,
How
you
doing?
I'm doing fine.
Great.
Thanks for allowing me to jump on.
Yeah, thank you for getting on. But yeah, we were talking about the goals for FFL. 10 or 45 million in the month of October. You have, we set our goal for FFL Elite. We're going to do 1.5 million minimum. 2 millions are realistic, true goal that we want to hit.
Mm-hmm.
We went over your goals. We went on a call with some of the leaders that decided to hop on and participate. You came on, you shared your goals. You also did some follow up with your team. Tell us a little bit about that and how that went.
Okay. So I am just getting back into it. As you guys know, I kind of stepped back a little bit after the accident with my son passing away in December, but I'm all ready to go now. So I have been looking at all of the agents that I actually have that's licensed. So I decided to go in, give them a call. I had people that was just sitting in there. They had to just submit E&O. Or they had to submit their bank statement. These are things that I could have been doing to get people writing. So what I decided to do, I saw that Elba was putting up, that we get on and give our numbers to help out with the 40. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I decided to reach out to everyone. And I have been doing this maybe about the last 3 weeks. before Albert actually had that call, that Zoom with us to give our goals. So after talking with everybody and getting them plugged into the group meet, letting them see the things that can be done, seeing the numbers the type of families that they can be helping and the type of money that can be made. So they're all excited and ramped up again. So I decided to just throw out for my team. And I'm like, I have 14 writing agents now. I decided to do a Zoom on last Sunday. And I was like, okay, let me just see who's going to get on, who's very serious about actually doing this. So I wound up having 10 on the Zoom call that night. I had one that he was trying to get on, but he couldn't. So that would have been 11 with myself. So I went over everything. I told them that we're going to shoot for 50,000 and that I was going to offer an incentive for everybody that hits. And that incentive was, if you hit 10,000, I will purchase any state for you to get your non-residence license in. They was excited about that because I explained to them what that means. I'm like, I'll be in Texas next hour, I'll be in New Jersey, and then turn around, I'm in Florida. I say, so this gives you the opportunity to actually reach more people. And I called Albert. I was so excited, about the turnout, about the numbers, even after the call. I said, I'm gonna see who's excited about this. So I told them, I said, you need to send me your goals. If you want about a 5-minute, 10-minute call for me to help you to, lay this out and see how it looks, because you can tell me a number, but you need to be able to break that down and make it make sense. Can you actually do that? So I gave my goal. I showed them how I would break it down, and they threw numbers at me, and I was surprised. I got 10 back with goals. So I had a lot of them that had, and I had some that, but it's no way that we shouldn't hit that 50K, not with them writing. And then I definitely want to lead from the front. And I told them, I said, I want to get all these calls in, all these text messages in with you guys, because come Thursday, September the 29th, I'm going in. I won't be available till after hours. Oh. And as you can see, I was busy today. I wrote 4 applications.
Ooh. Yeah, we saw that early morning. Congrats.
I have been following up. I did my live transfers again. I used to be scared of those, Albert. And I used to say, oh, that's going to be too much money. But I'm like, I'm trying everything it is that I have. I have follow-ups, everything. I'm trying it all. I will hit I'm going to hit my. Now I tell my team, if you don't hit what you gave me, it's okay. At least you started. And there's always next month. So I'm excited to see where the team is going to go. And Albert, I want to thank you for sharing Talise with us, because I did not know what was going on with me. Because as you know, after my son passed away, I came back in January and I went just constantly work, trying to forget about it. And I just shut down and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. But when I spoke with Talise, she just made it all clear to me, because she had also been through this. And she said, you're in another stage of grief. So I just want you to just take it slow. And you need to concentrate and you need to just relax and just think about you and get yourself together. And I took a few months and I did that. And I said, Talise, I'm ready. Then we start strategizing things to do. She keeps me accountable for things that I tell her I want to do. So she's awesome. So I want to thank you, because I've been with other IMOs with, putting up numbers, and they never did these kind of things. If it did, it was for them. But you sharing it with us, and I really appreciate it, because she was like my grief counselor and my performance coach. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to hear that. Well, number one, I'm glad Talise is helping a lot of people out.
Mhm.
So the thing is I think it's been a great investment, helping people like yourself. And, not everyone's going through the same stuff. So obviously it's not just like a therapy session. It's more about helping you perform. And sometimes our ability hasn't really changed. It's more that, we start building up these narratives within our own head, build up a labyrinth, can't think straight, can recognize why we can't think straight. And that's it. Just give you a third party perspective, help you remove some of those things, help you realize what you need to do and how much closer it is than we perceive it to be. So I love it. I mean, I thank you. Love the excitement. You totally will crush those goals. And yeah, I mean, way to lead your group, because I didn't tell you, hey, you should go do this. You just took the initiative and you did it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to big things from Helen. So, real quick, I mean, as far as you took a little bit of time off because of, you had to get over, that whole situation. So then as far as coming back and actually doing it, as far as brand new agents, the whole process of getting leads, calling people, actually presenting, is that something that anybody can do?
Yes, definitely. Anybody can do it. It's just a process of following up with them. Just seeing where they're at. Yep. Not stopping, because I had one young lady that actually just texted me, and she was letting me know that money was tight. Now I have the money to get my E&O. It's just stand on top of it.
Yeah. Great. Well, I really appreciate you sharing. And, we actually kind of just went over this in the group chat as well for the leaders. We're trying to hit a bigger goal. The thing is, not only are we trying to acquire new talent and try to hire new personnel, the thing is we have a lot of people already within our existing organization.
Yeah.
So many people that, we've kind of, I wouldn't say overlooked, but, everyone's an independent contractor. Yep. Everyone works on their own time frame. Everyone has their own motivations. Everyone, has their own specific work ethic that they possess. So the thing is, a lot of times people want to do it, but then they kind of, something falls off, and then, they didn't get their E&O. They don't know how to get their E&O. They don't know how to log onto their program. They a lot of little questions that, we can all do a better job of just following up and, just making sure that if they do want to do this, do they have everything they need? And if they don't, just point them in the right direction.
Right. And it's on us as leaders too, because what Talise always likes to say is, you got to keep your hand on the pulse, and the pulse is your agents, right? So some agents, it could be they're lost, but they're also feeling ashamed. They don't want to reach out. And it's a matter of us being the leaders to just keep in touch, check in, see what's happening. And then 2 seconds of a phone call, 1 minute of a phone call can get an agent rolling. Or even just like, for example, for you guys, if you have teams, you have, agents that you're building up, you don't have to do all the work. Just understand that. Plug them into the Zoom call, plug them into the leadership calls, plug them into the mixer. Yeah. These things keep the agent involved and close to the fire.
Right. So, I mean, just like we expect a little bit of effort out of them, I mean, we got to provide that effort as well.
Right.
So
right.
That's it. If we all do that, we win together.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, thank you, Helen. Appreciate you.
Good job, Helen.
Thank you.
Oh, speaking of the goal for 45 million.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and then it was Rob Dyrdek was talking on, he was talking on Lewis Howes' podcast, and then he was talking about, meditation and vision and all that stuff, right? So then he said one thing about when you set specific goals and plans, as long as you're committed, you put in the time. The thing is, it always goes that way.
Yeah.
It never goes as you expect, but it always goes that same direction. Right. So then a lot of things that we expect things to happen, you won't actually know until it actually plays out. You won't actually know until you actually put in that work, you actually commit to it. Now, the thing is, if you don't commit to it, it's not going that direction.
Yeah.
You're the one driving that ship. You're the one captain of that ship. And if you choose not to put in the time, you don't actually commit, then it doesn't even go that direction. But the thing is, we can be certain of that. If we have the amount, we put out a plan, we're committed to executing it, we put in the work, it's going to go that direction somehow, some way. Mm-hmm. The thing is, we're channeling and focusing our energy into that. We'll get there.
Yeah. Yep.
So I thought that was kind of a cool analogy that I never really looked at it from that perspective. But
I mean, I think it's because mainly you don't really know what you don't know, right? If you have a general goal sometimes you don't know where life is going to take you, right? Like there's certain things that I had a vision of where I wanted to go in life, but I didn't really know what vehicle, how I was going to get there, how long it was going to take me. And I'm still on that journey, but in the midst of doing that, you know, it's just taken me in so many better places and so many different places, but I'm still on that general path. So I think like just keeping an open mind rather than being like, it has to be this way is like huge.
And for those of you out there that are watching, if you don't really have a plan yet, you don't really know what you want to do, where you're going, that's the first step. Come up with a plan. If you don't know how to set that, you know, talk to one of your uplines, reach out to one of us.
Yeah.
You know, that's vitally important if you don't want to be stuck in the same position. We're essentially going backwards.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Also just wanted to send out a heartfelt wishes to everyone on Florida, all of our friends and, you know, FFL Elite family members, all family first life. You know, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully everything's okay with you guys. Everyone's in good health. Everyone's safe.
Yeah. Even
Sure.
like the above states, like Sean was texting, like, yeah, they're preparing for the hurricane. They're in North Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the hurricane's moving up. So stay safe, everyone.
I mean, Cuba doesn't, like, they lost power too. I mean, obviously that's not America, but
We don't have FFL agents out there.
oh yeah,
Just
my
kidding.
bad. We shouldn't care about
She
that.
wants to retract on the well wishes.
No, I mean, though, that's, you know, we're blessed to be in America, even when
Yeah.
things happen, you know, we have a sophisticated, you know, police department, you know, government where most people that should know are going to get calls, you know, police are going to come out. We have people, you know, that can take care of that. That's a blessing, because other places, I mean, Cuba, it didn't take much. They're like, okay, yeah, power's out in Cuba. They said it on the news. I'm like, dude, power's out in Cuba, in a country that is not, you know, America. It's like, dude, that's devastating out there. So
Yeah. So we're definitely blessed. And, you know, for people out there, I mean, hope everyone, if you guys need anything, reach out to us. But yeah, I mean, actually had an interesting way. Not to compare this, because they're dealing with things way worse than I have to deal with. I told you about it a little bit, but you know, actually the first time in my life, I called 911 on
Right.
Tuesday.
wow.
So the thing was, I just happened to be home that day, because the thing is, typically I'm out burning. But you know, I smelled something burning, and then I heard some crackling, and I looked out the window, and I have a detached garage in the back, and then all of a sudden, like, it's coming from my neighbor's house. There's like smoke, and I'm like, I didn't see any flames or anything, but I'm like, oh no, this is. I'm like, hopefully it's just something small. Maybe someone's smoking some weed. I don't know. But then I look out, and then like you hear the crackling, you start seeing like embers and stuff flying, and I'm like, oh. So then immediately I called 911, and then they're like, don't try to put it out yourself, you know, just in case there's electrical issues and whatever. So then it started burning, and then you start seeing the flames, and burned up. There's an electrical post in the back, and then by the time the fire, so there's probably like 5 firefighter trucks on my side of the street, and then 5 on the other side. And, you know, they had to like they took like a hatchet, and they had to like break down my garage and, you know, get in through.
Way.
So there's storage in the back. So the thing is, it burned up a couple walls, and it pretty much burned everything in the storage room in the back
Of yours?
my house.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So then I was like, it got to the point where I'm waiting for the fire department to show up. I'm just sitting there just thinking, this might be go time. So I started putting out my clothes. I grabbed my keys. You know, I was like, is there anything valuable I really need to grab right now, in just case I need to evacuate, or in case the whole place burned down.
Right.
So then, like, I'll just sitting there. I'm like, okay, this is something. So then fortunately they came. They did a great job. Shout out to the local fire department. You know, thank you guys for doing all that. But you know, it made me think, because it's, you know, how often do you think, hey, what if my stuff burns up? What if my house burns down?
Yeah.
Right. Never called 911 before in my life. So this is the closest I've ever came to, you know, something in terms of personal property.
Right.
Right. So, you know, it kind of made me think a little bit. And I was just thinking, first I'm like thinking, like, should I feel bad about this, or should I be like, oh, why did it happen to me? But, you know, I think I get perspective really quickly, because, you know, I knew Hurricane Ian was coming.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do I have to complain about? And then also, like, you know, the thing I recognized first and foremost was I'm like, no one was hurt.
Yeah.
No one got killed. You know, it was, you know, it's actually out of all things, it actually wasn't that bad. The property damage, yeah, it's going to cost, a few tens of thousands of dollars to fix probably. So that's something that's inconvenient.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it could have been a lot worse.
Right.
Could have burned everything down. And then, you sit there and you just think like, yeah, I mean, if the whole place had burned down, like, what would I do?
Your whole house?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or even if it was a whole garage, I mean, it'd be a lot more expensive of an undertaking. And then, fortunately, as it was burning, I was waiting for the fire department to come. I'm like, good thing I got property insurance.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing is, for us working in the insurance industry, like no one likes to think about the things because insurance is not sexy.
Yeah.
The concept of it itself. No one thinks about like, hey, it'd be really cool to have this. But the thing is, when those situations come, you're gonna be in a really bad spot if you don't have it.
It's funny. I have a similar example. It would be quick, so we can start. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
So I got new insurance because I got new tags. So I had to actually claim that
Auto insurance.
Auto insurance, yeah. So I had to actually claim that I was in LA. I was using the low monthly payment that I was getting for claiming it was in Portland with my old Oregon tags. Yeah, 4 years of living here. So I got new insurance for my car, and my buddy, I'm like, and then driving back from Vegas, I noticed that there was a crack in my windshield. So there's a crack, and then it got bigger and bigger. I hit my buddy up, and I was like, dude, what do I do with this? Like, is there a cheap way to do it? Can I fix it? And he's like, what type of insurance do you have? He's like, I got liability. I got the cheapest one. And he's like, oh. And it's funny because you never think you're going to need it because I've never gone in an accident. Yeah. Never, that's been my fault. Never anything like that. Literally 2 weeks or a week or whatever it is later, I actually needed that full amount that I was like, you know what, $15 a month? Nah, let's keep it. You keep that money. And like, I could have actually used it for, the $300, windshield that I had to pay for. Yeah, so it's just kind of funny. You never know until you run into that situation.
Yeah, I have comprehensive. They came out to the back to the parking lot and changed it for me
free of charge.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. See, you never know.
I mean, that's what we used to joke about as far as getting equipment for the studio.
Yeah.
We're like, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
So, but yeah, I mean, as far as property tax, thank God I got that, thank God all the other stuff happened first. But then, when you have time to act, when the dust settles, you get time to just kind of just reflect back and just think like, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. And what would have happened if I didn't have this?
Yeah, sure.
So, as far as it relates to our business, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, clearly, the situation is a little bit different with property insurance and stuff like that, auto insurance. Sometimes you'll pay, and then you may or may not need it. Hopefully, and if you're lucky, you paid all this time and you didn't use it. It's actually a good thing.
Yeah, right? For sure.
But the thing is, when it comes to life insurance, it's not a matter of if someone makes a claim. It's a matter of like when that's going to come.
Yeah. And you don't get as intense stories because say you pass away, you're not going to be like, dang, I died. Dang, I should have gotten that policy. My kids would have been fine right now, unless you're in heaven. I mean, that's a deeper conversation. But for us, we can have these conversations about property insurance, about car insurance, right? Because it's happening to us. If something happens to you and you pass away, only your family can really speak on it, right? And obviously they're going to feel intense about it, but again, that's why we have to make people feel like they're in that situation. And what would it really be like if you were to pass away? What would your parents, what would your wife, what would your husband, what would your kids' lives be like if you were to pass away?
Right.
Yeah.
But the sad reality is too, is like in those situations, family's not going to say like, oh man, they passed away and now they don't have insurance. Like I wish they would have got insurance. And they're not really going to be that upset about that person not thinking about it for the most part.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of grieving. They're dealing with just the loss of that person in general. But the thing is, if you planned out ahead and you actually prepare for something that's inevitable, how much better position can you put your family?
Yeah, my agent Sal, he has his crazy upsell close with that. So you want to hear it?
Yeah,
so it goes like this. So he says, this policy, this number amount is the last thing they'll ever think about you when you pass away. Every single time you pass away and the conversation comes up, your daughter, your sibling, your spouse will say, he left me 15,000. He only left me 15 and I didn't have enough for the burial. Or he left me 100,000 and I got to take care of everything. The conversation will end up about this life insurance, the last part you pick. Which one are you going to pick?
Sheesh.
That's kind of true.
Hey, man.
That's
Whatever,
deep, right?
whatever you guys want to say about that, you can say it's manipulative. You can say it's too hard of a
It's the
close. You
last
can
conversation.
say all these things, but what about that is a lie?
Right.
None of
It's
it.
the last conversation. Every time you have someone that had passed away, he left me this nothing, left me this much or this amount.
Or I mean, imagine if you left someone with like $1 million,
Right.
then they'll still be sad you're gone. But I mean, I
Legacy.
don't know how sad. Probably a little less sad.
Yeah. Speaking of which, speaking of $1 million bucks, I actually just signed up for the ethos because we needed to sign up for create our own application.
Yeah.
I just got the ethos. It took me about 5 minutes to sign up for $1 million, $50 plan for 20 years.
For yourself.
Yeah.
You can sign yourself up.
Yeah, you get paid full comp
Food
too.
for thought.
100%.
Did you get that
Okay.
because of your new baby?
That too. And I was like, I might as
You don't
well.
wanna say
It's
that?
going to pay for itself for the year. But it is because the first one I had for Ellie, I bought $1 million. And so
Yeah.
I got another one for 20 years. I only set it for 20 years. After 20 years, if I'm still around and they're grown, they're on their own.
Why aren't you working?
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, so it makes a difference. So now think about it. If I were to go, each one of the kids would be like, Dad left me $1 million. You're welcome.
Well, I mean, I always like to ask that question when people get insurance because it's like I'm curious what drove them to get insurance.
Right.
Like what's your thought process? Because like for me, I don't have any kids.
Mm.
I'm not married yet.
Yeah.
So but for me, I still have policies.
Right.
Because I'm just like I don't want to wait. I'm thinking ahead. I don't want to wait till I drink too much and I can't. I'm uninsurable or something like that. I don't know. It's a real thing. You can't predict things in life.
It's true.
So
Sure.
So I mean, for me, I'm like, I just want to make sure I have something in place. I have multiple policies, but
Up to $2 million. Simplified issue. Don't even have to check your liver.
I got you.
but so aside from that aspect of thinking about the whole fire thing, also I'm thinking it's going to cost me money.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have insurance. You got to pay deductible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to also consider depending on how much it is for all the repairs and everything else. If I just rather come out of pocket, not increase my premium for my property insurance. So, these are all things I got to consider. Very inconvenient, very lucky to be alive. But, as far as the practical side of things, this is also, geared towards the agents in our business. The thing is, we're all independent contractors. We all make our own financial decisions. But the thing is, if you're not working on a consistent basis, what if something unexpected comes up? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like even if you have insurance, you got to pay deductible. Let's say you get in a car accident.
Yeah.
Can't work.
Your windshield cracks.
Windshield cracks. Something as rough as that. The thing is how prepared are you for the unexpected situation? Like everything in life costs money.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then even if you can get by with very little, the thing is when something unexpected comes up and you're liable for something and you owe tens of thousands, how are you prepared to handle that situation? So, that's the reason why, even when things are going well, the thing is we got to work hard, continue to, execute a plan. Don't shoot for the bare minimum, whatever your goal is. Don't say like, hey, this is my monthly nut.
Yeah.
And I've hit it in the first couple of days for the month, and I'm just going to take the rest of the month off. It's a recipe for disaster. So just plan ahead, think ahead, and just, prepare yourself best you can for anything unexpected. And then just, go enjoy your life. And that's all we can do. So, as far as the insurance part, I mean, since we're on the topic of getting insurance, even though you don't really necessarily need it,
Right.
just kind of planning ahead and thinking, preparing for situations that you anticipate might come down the line. We were talking about getting you a policy, right?
Yeah, I think for me, I want a policy. I want it to be something permanent. I want it to be, this is something I've been thinking about for a while. And I was thinking between an IUL or a whole life policy and kind of use that whole life policy to leverage it, kind of like the infinite banking concept. Yeah.
Okay.
That, I've obviously was there when Scott
Janad.
Janad
Yep.
came on. And I edited it. I did my research, and it's interesting, and it's something that really made me think about, where am I going to put my money? Do I want to put, like, once things are kind of set up more structurally, do I want to do 401k? Do I want to do IUL? Do I want to do a whole life? Do I want to just put it in stocks, index fund, crypto? So, for me, I've just been kind of thinking a lot. And I think the infinite banking concept and IUL, I just think it makes the most sense as far as something that's extremely conservative, something that, you can borrow against without taking the amount out, and you can still have it accrue interest without affecting the lump sum or whatever amount of cash value you have in the policy. So I was just looking at all the different variables, and this is something that people, wealthy people have been doing for decades, centuries, right? Using the tax benefits of life insurance to pass on wealth, create their own bank. So it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and just kind of reflecting on, and I think it's time.
Okay. Let me take a step back with that. So I got a new agent. She was just actually texting me. It's like, what's an IUL? So we got to take a step back first, right?
For sure.
So concept of life insurance is to protect you in case you die. There's a death benefit for the family. But there are certain products out there besides the permanent plan. We have an index universal life. We have an infinite banking concept that's actually geared towards an investment purpose. Okay. So what type of client should we look into that? So if we're looking into Yoel, two types that we kind of veer out. Does he want it for a death protection, or he wants it more for an investment opportunity? In your situation, you don't have any dependents, right? If you were to die, what is the cost of your death, in a sense? Just basically a funeral, in a sense, right? Yeah. So you can buy a simple, small policy that takes care of that, but you're looking ahead. You're looking 20, 30 years. Yeah. I have the money. I have the income. So he's a potential client for an IUL. He's a potential client for IBC, and he can add more to it because he has less expenses. So what is the product now, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think the thing that really attracted me, obviously it's predicated on how you structure things, but the whole life policy, the cost of insurance, it never goes up. So that's something that was very stable. I mean, this is going to be something that I want to be very conservative.
Okay.
I want it to be low death benefit. I mean, I'm intending to put maybe $500 into it per month, but then having making sure it's not I don't create a taxable event. Okay. Just having it structured properly to where, as much as I can of that is going towards the cash value. Inevitably, I'm going to have a decent policy just predicated on how much I'm putting in.
Okay.
But, that's what really made me interested in that, even though it's not as maybe I mean, it just really depends on how you structure it. But okay. I really liked that aspect, that the cost of insurance never goes up. It's more predictable in my eyes, and it's something that really made me feel more comfortable.
Okay. Do you have a lump sum that you're going to put in?
No lump sum, just the 500, maybe more, maybe 6. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are some different concepts of different products that is available for us in our portfolio. Mm-hmm. So let me just very, very clear about it. When it comes to an IUL, which is Index Universal Life, there's also the IBC, which is what they talked about. That's infinite banking concept. So that's be your own bank, basically. So then in that situation, if you guys want some more information, go on our YouTube page for Family First Life Elite. Look up IBC. Is that how I was?
Yeah, with Scott Janad.
Scott Janad was the one that came on and ran it. But you can watch that at your leisure. Don't make it a priority.
Right. And make sure you guys are watching it in non-producing activity time. Don't watch it on your prime hours.
Don't do it during dial time. Don't do it during time when you typically would be seeing clients.
Do it at like 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's only really an hour. I mean, the video is like an hour 30 maybe, but the rest is like just filler stuff.
Okay.
You can probably skip 15 minutes and then the last maybe 20 minutes. And
watching like 1.5 speed or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch it on your way here in the car, whatever.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So both of those products can do some really cool things. That cash value accumulation, it seems really attractive because, it's non-reportable tax-free income for the IUL, for the BYOB, you borrow against borrow money against yourself, which you choose to pay back or not.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different options available out there. So let me just make this very clear up front, though. The thing is, it's not applicable in every situation.
Correct.
So I think a lot of times we get agents that, we have a lot of new agents all the time. They come in, they say like, hey, I'm not contracted with this carrier yet, not contracted with this carrier. I would like to sell this product. This sounds really cool. How do I sell this? So to make it very clear, I mean, the reality is the majority of the agency workforce, probably 80% plus, is going to be three main carriers. It's going to be Americo, Prosperity, AIG.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the ones that are easiest to contract with. They pay out the quickest. Underwriting is really simple. Just overall, I mean, cuts down training time to make it really, really short. So overall, I mean, this is what you're going to be focusing on primarily.
Yeah, like 90% of your clients plus.
Right. So, we always recommend starting with that first. Simplified issues. These are the products that we're talking about with the IULs and the infinite banking. Those are fully underwritten products for the most part. So the thing is, as far as if the client's not that healthy, they probably won't qualify for it anyway. In addition, I mean, I think one of the things that a lot of times people don't really recognize up front, they say like, hey, I have this client, I love maybe in your head, you love the IUL concept, how it builds up cash value, non-reportable tax-free income, all that stuff. But the thing is, if they don't have that much money to put aside, like if in Yoel's situation, if you don't have, like, you don't have to say the specific amount, but do you plan to overfund it?
Do I plan to overfund it? No. Just put in that 500.
I know. Well, not a lump sum, but
no lump sum.
But you're not looking like, hey, what's the cheapest I can pay?
No.
Yeah. Because if you have a client that says like, what's the least that I can pay for insurance? There's probably not a right candidate for an IUL.
Yeah, I get that a lot. They're like, oh, I want like, what can I get for $1 million? But I want to pay like $50 a month. Like, and then they want to have a permanent policy that'll build accumulation that they can retire 6 figures a month in like 5 years.
Right. And I'm like, that's not realistic.
It really just depends on how you structure it. And a lot of the times it's actually a product that's counterproductive for certain candidates, that, as they were saying, don't want to put a decent amount of money into it.
Yeah.
And you don't structure it right. You put more of it into the insurance side, right? So you make it, and not only are you not putting enough money into it, you make the insurance compartment of it large. So eventually, as the price goes up of insurance goes up with an IUL specifically, the policy is gonna lapse. They're not gonna be able to sustain the policy. So it really, before you go into that, I definitely recommend doing research, but just keep in mind, none of this stuff is a one trick pony. It's not going to be like, oh, well, this is to make money. This is just for insurance. It's like, no, the devil's in the details. That's why there's agents. That's why you guys get paid a commission to, learn this stuff. And then also, bring it to people and explain it to people in a simple way. But everything is different for different people and different circumstances.
So I'm not in any way trying to steer people away from writing IULs. Like, the reason why I continue to bring up Americo, Prosperity, AIG is because if you're purchasing leads and you're investing into your business that way, which if you don't do it regularly, you probably don't have a real business.
Yeah.
You have a way to make some side money. You have a side hustle, basically. You can find referrals, you sell them every once in a while. That's one way. But if you constantly and you're regularly buying leads, the thing is, you have a business. And when you have a business, specifically the type of leads that you're purchasing, generally they tend to skew towards specific products.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be final expense, mortgage protection, term with return of premium, all this stuff. And it makes your job really easy.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to just caution you guys against is just assuming for the client that this is what they want because you happen to like it.
Yeah.
Like, our job as salespeople or, as representatives, just go out there, figure out what their problem is, what their main problem is, not all their problems.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out their main problem, why they filled in this response, why they filled in the lead, and then just try to provide a solution for it.
Yeah, sure.
Now, if they're telling you certain things, like there's certain things that you can start to gather. They have a lot of disposable income. They're looking to put in some extra money into it. They're not really hurting for cash. They can overfund it. They're healthy. They're a reasonable age. Where this actually makes sense. Then the thing is, they may be an IUL candidate.
Yes,
for sure. And for example, you have to be pretty healthy for an IUL. And then also
it is fully written for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And then the infinite banking for Lafayette, I think he mentioned it was like a month, blood, urine, all that stuff. So if you're looking to make a living off of, selling insurance, it's going to be tough to wait that long, let me recommend. This is definitely like a once in a while product for somebody that's one, really healthy, two, you kind of know what you're doing, and you have a goal of what they want to do with it, because it really doesn't make sense for very specific people.
Yeah. Put it this way. Let me use an example. I did an IUL for a client, fully underwritten. I wrote it up in end of May 28th. It issued in September.
Wow.
Got the client approved though. Preferred premier rating, 74. Super healthy. But did I rely on that income? And just to let you know, most IUL companies, compared to your FFL comp, it's a lot lower.
Yeah.
Like 30 to 40% lower than your FFL comp.
Right. So don't become enamored with a certain product just because it sounds attractive to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Figure out what the client needs and provide that solution.
Not just that, but if you guys are in IUL industry, you don't get paid based on the premium. You get paid based on target premium.
Okay, say that one more time.
You don't get paid based on the client's premium. You get paid on the target premium. So let's use Yoel for an example. We put him on a $500 a month IUL premium, but he wants to lower the face amount and max fund it. Max funded means we're going to give him the lowest life insurance cost and overpay that, so the rest of the remaining balance goes into the cash value that builds up and accumulate. So if the cost of insurance is only $100 a month and he's paying $500 and $400 goes to the cash value, you're not getting paid on the $400. You're getting paid on the target premium, which is the life insurance cost of insurance.
Yep.
So you might get paid $1,200 AP instead of what you thought was $6,000 AP.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're looking you're thinking, oh man, this is a big client premium. Take you 2 months. You're all excited. Ooh, I'm going to get paid fat. And it's like
the actual commission deposits. You're like, whoops.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, be very, and there is a way to structure it to where it's more of insurance, but you don't want to do that for a client because it's going to probably lapse. Because again, the cost of insurance goes up. So it really just depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus it's a pretty complex, it could be a complex product because the thing is, there's so many different ways that you could design it.
Yeah.
So just kind of further expound on John's point. So the thing is, this is not a comprehensive IUL training.
No,
This is kind of just kind of get, we do have that. Thank you for sending that up. But as far as our, to kind of give you guys the crash course, the basic general understanding of it. So when you pay a premium for an IUL, an index universal life policy, there's 3 components.
Yep.
The first is for the cost of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how much actual insurance that is. That's the target premium that John's referring to.
Yep.
Then there's second things, the fees, which is built into it. This is for the company to stay afloat, for them to pay their people, pay out the commissions, to everything else in terms of maintaining a policy.
Yeah. When I explain it to my client, I explain it. These are the janitor fees. These are the maintenance fees to keep the policy going.
Right. And then those are the first 2 components: cost of insurance, fees, and then the final thing is the cash value accumulation. So the rest of that premium, whether you pay $500 a month or $7,000 a month or whatever it is, it goes into 3 different things. That's why if you have a client that says like, I just want to pay $50. The thing is, if they're young enough, maybe they can get one. But the thing is, most of that's going towards the cost of insurance, and then the fees come out anyway. Cash value accumulation doesn't have very much left to actually go into that bucket.
Yeah.
So the thing is, not much cash value accumulation is going to build up, and part of the concept of an IUL is for that cash value to be able to offset some of that cost of insurance as you get older. So then your premiums, you technically have to start paying less for more insurance as it continues to build. But the thing is, if you don't overfund it properly, an IUL is kind of counterproductive, because it gets to a point, if you don't overfund it properly, if you don't fund it properly, the cash value is not going to be enough, and actually lapses as a person gets older, because their cost of insurance continues to rise. They don't have the cash value to pay for it, and unless they want to continue to pay higher premiums, it's not really going to be worth it.
Yeah.
So there's other policies, other products that probably could have solved that could provide a solution for them. If they look for a lot of coverage, you can get them term policy. It's cheaper.
Yeah. You want to prevent that. So a lot of other carriers or other IMOs, what they do is they bump up the cost of insurance so they can get paid well. as the commissions. And then a couple of years later, we run into the same clients, and then we do a policy review, and their policy's imploding. So they're mad. It felt like a term. They thought it was a permanent. They've had it for 20 years. They're out of cash, and then they got to pay 200 extra on top of it. And they're older, and now we can't even replace it. We can't find something suitable, beneficial to the same amount of cost of insurance based on their new age and new health factors. So now they're just pissed and they're mad, and they're like, man, this insurance thing is a scam.
And that's where you get the bad stereotypes.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that's unfortunate, because a lot of times the first agent that they run across where they sign up for a policy, sometimes it's a friend or family member.
Yep.
And then they just assume all insurance is the same.
Yeah.
So like if this policy imploded because it wasn't properly funded, cash value runs out, like I don't want to get insurance, but it's kind of like us being brokers, we have the luxury of being able to look into all these different products with a full portfolio of different things. So stick with the basics and figure out if there's certain people, there's certain things that they're asking for as you're going through your discovery and going through your financial inventory sheet and asking the client their information. If they fit certain criteria, then start recognizing. And this comes with experience. So you don't know up front, that's okay. But as you continue to build it up, then you start to get to a point where you're like, oh, this one might be a situation when we can sell an IUL. Like with the company we came from, they didn't have it.
Right. Well, they did way back. By the time we reviewed those are bad.
I think it was a regular UL, whatever it was trash.
It was bad.
But then you start, you came in, you started writing some IULs, and I'm like, that's cool. How'd you learn it? And we didn't know anything about it. The thing is, we literally just called the carrier and said like, hey, I want to sell an IUL. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then they walk you through it.
Yeah.
They start asking some questions. So that's the thing that you guys can do. That's what we would personally recommend. Start to kind of figure out, and Yoel has produced, I think Bisha goes over, John went over one with the IUL Express.
We have a couple.
So we have a couple IUL on our training platform on the eliteffl.com website.
Yeah, I think the introductory to IUL, you guys go to eliteffl.com, go to Academy. Can we say the password or no? Or just text us for the password.
Yeah, it's on Elite, FFL Elite clips too.
Yeah.
So we have it free access. If you need it, reach out to me, reach out to anyone, we'll get it to you.
But yeah, it's an introductory of the current IUL that you can sell now without having to contract, which is under Mutual of Omaha. It's called the IUL Express. Great part about this, they used to have an illustration needed. Now you can just sell it. It's instant approval for anyone 50 and under. You can get up to 300,000, 50 and to 60, you can get up to 250,000, and then 60 to 70, you can get up to 150,000. Simplified issue. Now the issue to this, the client's got to be healthier, right? It's not a final expense type policy. It's a table rating of 4 and under. So they got to be decently healthy, but you can sell a bigger amount. And the best part about this, it's express. It's simplified issue. You get paid in a few days, and it's only 10% off your FFL comp compared to the other fully under in IULs that take away 30 to 40% and pay out in 2 to 3 months. You learn a little bit more about that. You go through the training. There's 2 trainings. There's the introductory, and then the second one you can play around on a non-EC solve and how to do an illustration for it. That's your introductory. Your second part then is, you create an account with fflams.com and start watching some IUL videos, annuity videos, IBC videos. All those things are there. We have a second department. But more importantly, if you're in front of a client and they're leaning towards that, and that's above your skill grade, rebook that appointment, reschedule, ask a couple more questions to the client. Do you want this as a death benefit? Do you want this more of an accumulation? What do you want the money to do? Do you want to retire with it, or you want to pass it on? All these questions, feel free to just give us a call if you're in front of a client. But the worst thing is, having the business plan of this is the only method I want to attack because it's the high premium company clients. Yeah. And then next thing you know, you're only getting paid once a month. It's the worst situation.
And I'll say, we have a question from
Mutual of Omaha, IUL Express.
About Mutual. Also, like, the thing is, when I have conversations with clients about this, is you want to make sure that you're not distracting them from what the purpose of the policy is, right? So for example, for Mutual of Omaha, most of the time people are not going to be able to fund it properly to where they're going to see any of the cash value accumulate to any significant amount for a very long time. Just keeping it real, right? So the main value that it has in the meantime is the death benefit. Yes, is the insurance aspect to it. You are an insurance agent, right? So making sure you create that perspective and keep reminding them, like, hey, this is an insurance policy, life insurance policy, but it has these great benefits, is going to go a longer way, and it's going to make things a little bit more simpler and less confusing for the client and for you.
So there's also situations which, yeah, you kind of the death benefit for people that are a little bit older, if they're still pretty healthy, it's a good opportunity to give them more permanent coverage.
Yeah,
for pretty reasonable, because especially for Mutual of Omaha IUL Express, there's the easy solve component.
right.
You do that, basically, it's going to become a permanent policy. It's not going to build up a whole ton of cash value for them to be able to access later.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you get a larger face amount than you would a typical final expense policy. But then again, if whatever their budget is, stick to that. So, really what it comes down to is you got to stick to the basics, learn your craft first. Don't start going volunteering things that's above your head.
Yes.
Because the thing is, you don't want to talk yourself out of a sale because you thought this concept was really cool. But if you don't know how to design a policy, you don't know how to go and design an IUL to create an illustration.
Yep. And you don't know the client's underwriting and the underwriting guidelines. Next thing you know, you're selling a lower face policy. Client buys it, client gets declined, and you can only offer like an AIG policy. You lost the sale.
Yeah, because if it's fully underwritten plan and they're declined on it, it marks their MIB records, and then it negatively impacts them from being able to qualify for other insurance policies in the future. So always try to go simplified issue first, unless you know for certain and you're confident with your underwriting skills. You know what you're looking for. You understand how the application works. You understand how to set everything up. If you do that, then by all means, go out there when you see these situations applicable to particular clients you run across, go after it. But if you really don't, stick to the basics first. If they really insist on getting an IUL because that's what they know about, then gather the information, call one of your uplines, reach out to one of us, get you set up.
Yeah, I think you just got to look at it as an extra icing on the cake. That's what's great about FFL. Okay, we have our main base, 90% final expense, mortgage protection. You can sell everyone, repeating it from AIG, Prosperity, and Americo. Now, if you have these type of clients, feel free to reach out to us on the FFL AMS. They have Ask a Specialist, and it has a component if it's either IBC, IUL, or annuity, and it'll ask the client profile with questions on it. If you guys can't log in because it's missing, I downloaded the PDF question. I can post it on GroupMe for you guys, or I'll put it on the group, the Google Drive.
And also, like, I like to think of an analogy. I was watching a podcast and they're talking about how like the Cheesecake Factory's menu is like really big,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
But then In-N-Out has, very simple menu, right? Like, but they're able to get so many people in and out because, because of the simplicity of their menu, right? The thing is, if you come in with like all these products, we have an IUL, infinite banking, all these different terms. We have the mutual, like, you're going to start to be, people are going to start to be like, whoa, I don't know. Now I got to do more research. That's the worst feeling you can put into a client, to be like, oh man, I got to actually wait. I got to learn this stuff. I don't really know what's going on. Then they have doubt. Then they want to ask their financial expert friend that they have. And next thing you know, they're not answering your calls. And there you go. You just fumbled.
Yeah.
And Cheesecake Factory, you can easily get overwhelmed. Too many options.
Right.
Too many options. I like In-N-Out. Get the same thing every time.
It's funny. I had a call this morning too with the recruit. It was like in my head, in her head, she was making sense. And I'm all like, okay, so this is what we do. We just buy leads, we call them and we sell them and we get paid in 2 to 3 days. And then she was talking about her previous or current IMO where, they're training me to get my Series 6 and 7. We're going to get in front of people. I'm all like, so how are you going to get these clients? You're putting the carriage before the horse. Like, what are we doing? Like, you got all these licenses, you have all these knowledge, you have these product knowledge. Who are you talking to? Who's your clientele for it? Right. So you want to keep it simple.
Yeah. Which goes back to the leads that we have available.
Yeah.
And the thing is, typically you're buying final expense leads or you're buying mortgage leads.
There's more clients of it.
For the most part, most IULs don't fit in most situations unless they happen to fit into that particular health category, and they have a little bit extra money. That for the most part, you're not going to be selling it as often. Now, if you're an IUL whiz, you know exactly what you're doing, by all means, go after it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, for the most part, keep it simple as possible, because if you were confused by any of this, that's kind of a good thing because it goes back to the importance of simplicity. Right? So if you stick with those main three with America, Prosperity, AIG, everything's going to be simple for you. You're going to get paid quickly. Cash flow is good. And then when you run across those other situations where an IUL situation might be appropriate, if you don't know how to personally do it yet at that point, reach out to one of your uplines, reach out to the carrier. There's plenty of resources. Don't try to fumble through it yourself just on the first few ones, because, we want to make sure that you set it up properly for the client so they have a product that is going to have real genuine value for them for the long term.
Yeah.
And is really going to help them what they really want.
Yeah, I think I think of it like a level 2. If you mastered your final expense and your mortgage protection, and now you want to dabble into it, use it as an extra tool, but don't use this as a distraction from you making your money now. Right? Make your money now, and then once you run into some more clients that are, small business owners and don't have any benefits and want to create a retirement account, now this is an added tool for you guys. So hopefully that helps.
It's not a silver bullet. It's just another weapon in your arsenal.
Right.
So hopefully that helped you guys or not confused you guys too much. But appreciate you guys hopping on. We got a big month for October. Let's do our part. Let's push for 45 million for the company, and let's go out there and continue to help and serve. And let's go out there and be elite, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Have a good one.